This gate must remain locked according to the bylaws. You are in violation.
I have the deed to this property. You have no right to restrict my access.
The porch light strobed against the cold morning air, and my coffee went bitter in my mouth when I saw the new padlock clamped on my front porch gate. Metal bit metal. Chain rattled. A fresh orange HOA sticker screamed violation in block letters. My kid's backpack sat beside the steps, and the smell of wet asphalt rose from last night's sprinkle. A security cart idled across the street like a small tank. Karen, our HOA president, stood with a clipboard and a smirk, tapping her pen to the flashing lights. She said, "Rules are rules." My dog whined behind the bars like we lived in a cage. I checked the time, 6:42 a.m., and my first thought was not printable. Here's the fight in one line, Karen padlocked. The porch gate. Rules are rules. Then I pulled the deed. She claimed my porch gate broke uniform style and blocked emergency access. Funny, because the gate has been there since the house was built. I asked how I was supposed to get my kid to school. She shrugged at the blinking cart and said, "Use the back door." I called the HOA office that same hour. Voicemail. I emailed the board by 9:00 a.m. Silence. By lunch, a warning notice slid under my door with a fine of $250 and a line that said, "Repeat violations may lead to liens." I tried to settle it. I walked to Karen's house with a polite voice and a printout of my builder's brochure. Her curtains twitched, then shut. At the park that evening, neighbors ducked their eyes like the wind had pushed their chins down. One whispered, "She called code on Tom last month." The board held an emergency huddle without me and sent 3 emails stacked with copied bylaws. None matched my porch. My doorbell rang at 9:00 p.m. A board member read a script through the camera like a robot. Remove the gate within 48 hours or face escalating penalties. The padlock stayed. The chain clanged every time the wind moved. A tiny laugh from Karen each time. I drew my line. No yelling. No vandalizing. No late-night bolt cutters. Only proper channels. I opened a fresh notebook and wrote my promise. Then I got smart. I filed a public records request with the county for property lines, permits, and the original subdivision plat. I called the builder's old office and found a retired clerk who loved details. I asked the city fire inspector to clarify access requirements. I labeled everything like a movie montage. I lined up photos, emails, and call logs in a binder. Timeline item 1, April 5 at 4:27 a.m., false trespass call. Timeline item 2, May 3rd, 2024 at 7:10 a.m., padlock placed by HOA. I added a plain law line under it. Patterns of false reports can be prosecuted. When the county file finally came, it thumped on my porch like a small book. The file landed with 63 pages. The twist came at the next board meeting. The clubhouse smelled like burnt coffee and lemon cleaner. Neighbors filled every folding chair. Phones were already out. Karen started strong. She said, "The gate breaks aesthetics and blocks EMT access." I smiled and rolled my binder under the table. I pulled a copy of the recorded plat, highlighted in yellow. Page 13. A tiny rectangle labeled owner-maintained porch area with a dashed line showing a private easement to my steps. Then the deed. Recorded dates. Lot description. My porch gate sat inside my property and outside HOA control for structural fixtures. I held up the city inspector's letter. He'd written in simple words, "Gate compliant for egress. No obstruction to emergency path." I slid the padlock key across the table. "You placed this on private property." The room went quiet. Then someone gasped. A neighbor whispered, "She's done." Phones tilted toward Karen. I heard a chuckle. Then full laughter when I played a short video. Karen's security cart idling while she measured my porch with a tape that started at the 1-inch mark. The comments on our community page exploded within minutes. 12 fresh posts. Even Tom, the guy she reported for his mailbox color, typed first. He wrote, "She moved the goalposts again?" A teen across the aisle said, "This is going on neighborhood watch fail." People clapped when I showed the email where Karen had cut and pasted a bylaw from another neighborhood. Someone in the back yelled, "Page 13, Karen." It felt like sunlight cracking through storm clouds. Not violent, just true. Then the authority flip. The city inspector stood up and read his note aloud. He said, "Enforcement not applicable." He looked at Karen and said, "Remove the lock, return access, and cease misapplication of code." A patrol officer at the back nodded and added, "If anyone places a lock on a resident's private property without consent again, that's tampering." The HOA attorney, who had been quiet, cleared his throat. He said, "We will need to rescind the fine and review board conduct." I handed him my receipts. Not money, proof, emails, dates, call logs, the deed, and the plat map. He shuffled through, counted, and sighed. He said, "This appears decisive." Karen's face drained to plain gray. The board voted to remove the padlock by end of day. They also opened a review of her 12 complaints from the past 6 months. She resigned before the vote, for removal even finished counting. Peace returned like it was waiting on the curb the whole time. By sunset, the chain was gone, and the gate swung free with a soft squeak. The board sent a letter that said, "My fine was void, my record cleared, and as a gesture, my next month's dues reduced by $100. Karen got formal censure, and her security cart privileges ended. The HOA set a new rule. No unilateral actions without 2 signatures and a photo on file. The best part happened that weekend. We hosted a small porch night. The air smelled like grilled corn and fresh paint. Tom brought folding chairs. A kid from next door tied a blue ribbon on the gate like it had won something. A quiet neighbor I'd never met left a small plant and said, "Thanks for doing it the right way." I didn't gloat. I didn't spike the ball. I just swung the gate open and felt the house breathe again. Please follow for more HOA showdowns like this. Do you think she got what she deserves? Comment below.